Okay. Let me make sure I'm logged in right. Okay, Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to our class on the lawful and the unlawful, lawful and the unlawful in Islam. And today, what we will be discussing is continuation of the lawful and the unlawful regarding our social relationships with each other. You know, before I go into today's prohibitions, let me first of all answer this question that one of the new shahadas sent me from their group. And it's a question I answer a lot, but you know, we get new people every day who may not have been here, excuse me, to hear the answer given before. All right, this sister wants to know, can she still maintain relationships with men who she's been friends with all of her life? This is a sister who just converted to Islam not too long ago. And there's a lot of social relationships that she has with males who are not Muslim, who she's grew up with and known all her life. And she said many of them are like brothers to her. Well, let me explain to you that, first of all, welcome to the religion of Islam. And what makes the religion of Islam so special is that it's not just a religion, but it is a way of life, a beautiful, complete way of life that has been defined to us by Allah. You know, and if we simply just adhere to the laws and the rules that Allah has given us, then we will be able to live here on this earth in some type of contentment. Okay? And one of the laws that Allah has given women and men is that we cannot intermingle with each other. We cannot be close to one another unless we share a close blood relationship. Do you women understand that? Okay. In other words, unless it's my father, my grandfather, my uncle, my nephew, my brother, my son, my husband that I'm married to at that time, because divorced husbands don't fall in this category. Okay, unless it's my nephew, then I cannot be alone with you, because being alone with you can lead to other activities and other types of behavior that can take us through down a dark road or dark path that can lead to the hellfire. Do you women understand that? Because the weakness for a woman is a man. The weakness for a man is a woman. And for the sister that's asking this question, I'm just going to put it out there. I am pretty sure that of these men who you have known and had friendships with all your life, I'm pretty sure that quite a few of them, maybe at least 2 or 3 of them, were men who you were involved with on an intimate level, weren't they? You don't have to answer that. But that's just the reality. I am pretty sure that you've dated or had relations or experimentations with 1 or 2, maybe more, of these men who have been close to you since your youth. Okay, well, none of that in Islam. So to prevent us, from going down that dark path, because Allah tells us in the Quran, do not go near fornication, do not go near adultery. Don't put yourself in a situation that may open the door to that. This is why Allah keeps us away from men who we are not closely related to, even our cousins. We can't even be alone with a cousin, okay, who's a male. So that's the answer. And again, Allah makes the laws for our betterment because he knows his creation better than we know ourselves. And Allah wants to make it easy for us to obtain his blessings, his favor. Allah and the angels are rooting for us in this world. All we have to do is learn Allah's laws, abide by his rules, and then we'll have a successful journey to paradise. I hope I made that clear. I hope I answered that in a nice way for you. Okay, so let's speak about how we should act or the type of behavior we should display with one another. And then today's lecture goes hand in hand with what we've been speaking about in our 6 o'clock class, allegiance. Because to keep the relationship between the Muslims healthy and good, there are certain rules and guidelines to abide by. And let's take a look at what those rules and what those guidelines are. And give me a second to open up my Zoom because it's all over the place today. Okay, get this out the way. All right. Let me get this out the way too. Where is it? Oh. Okay, here's the power. And there will be a quiz at the end of tonight's lecture. So everybody listening should be paying attention because there will be a quiz. So we're going to speak about the social rules and guidelines that Allah put in effect for us to abide by whenever we come in contact with each other. These are the rules we need to abide by at the masjid and with our neighbors and etc. And the first rule is Allah says, do not make fun of other people because the people you're making fun of may be better than you. And this is in Surah Hujurat of the Quran. And in that surah, Allah has prescribed several things that if we abide by them, they will help to protect the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood. Because remember, whenever a person declares La ilaha illallah, Muhammad or Rasulullah, 3 things become sacred. And that is their life, their honor, and their property. So the honor of the human being, that's your reputation. It's protected. So no other Muslim can make fun of you. They cannot look down at you. They cannot demean you. And for the person who believes in Allah sincerely and fears his punishment, they will try to avoid doing this to you. Because pride and arrogance and contempt is what leads them to transgress you that way. And pride and arrogance, these are all characteristics of shaitan that we all are capable of indulging in. But our personal jinn will try to push us to engage in those actions. But the angel of the heart, and remember we talked about how each and every one of us has an angel assigned to the heart. The angel of the heart, will whisper to you to try to get you to avoid that. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. Do not let some people make fun of others. because the ones you make fun of may be better than you. Nor should women make fun of other women who may be better than them. And as you can see in this verse, Allah, he singled out the women. Why? A lot of people will read that verse, and perhaps the man that we had here yesterday, he might read that verse and say, wow, that's dalil that women are bad creatures, that we can't be nice to them because women, they'll make fun of you. No, Allah singles out women because we, although we are equal to men spiritually, intellectually, we may even excel a man intellectually. Most women do. But one thing we have is we are more emotional than a man is. That's just the way Allah made us. We women give into our feelings and our emotions more than men do. We suffer with jealousy more than a man does. Men are jealous too. But a woman has a harder time getting control over her emotions than a man does. So this is why Allah is singling out a woman here, because due to our emotionalism, we can end up out of jealousy. As we talked about when we did the name of Allah today, El-Mubdi. A woman can be compelled due to her jealousy to ridicule another woman because she doesn't want her husband to marry her, for example. A man has the right to have 4 wives. Perhaps you're intimidated. You see another woman that looks better than you, or a woman that's attractive and has something to bring to the table. You might fear that perhaps your husband may want to marry her, so you would try to tear her down. This is a natural female reaction. So Allah is warning us women to be more on guard against that. And also for women and men, Allah also tells us this. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam emphasized, he said, Allah doesn't look at our physical features. If you want to impress Allah, just because of your physical features, that doesn't impress Allah. And neither does your money. To impress Allah, he looks at your heart and your deeds. Allah doesn't care about how you look, how much money you have, how strong your family is. He gave you all that. What impresses Allah is what you do with those things. Are you going to stay within his guidelines? Are you going to honor his rules in regards to those things, or are you going to deviate away? So he looks at our actions. He looks at our feelings, our sincerity of heart. That's how we impress him. You want to impress Allah, learning how to recite the Quran, for example. Learning how to recite the Quran in Arabic is not going to impress Allah. That doesn't impress Allah at all. Seriously, he could care less. But what impresses Allah is how you ponder the meaning of those words, how you put them in your heart and act upon it. That's what impresses Allah. So it's not the recitation. It's not the words that you're saying that impresses him. It's the way you're implementing those words in your life. That's why we break down Allah's name the way we do, so we can implement his names in our lives, okay? And a lot of people may ask, wow, this is some powerful words. Allah says, don't make fun of others. Don't look down on others. But there's a lot of people that make fun of people who have physical handicaps. There's a lot of people that laugh and make fun of deformity. They make fun of a person because that person's poor. For example, Ibn Masud, one of the original companions, he had weak legs, real skinny, thin, abnormal, deformed legs. One day he was sitting and you could see his leg because one of his legs was uncovered. And the brothers that were around began to laugh at him. And when the prophet heard them laughing at him, he said, are you laughing at him because of the deformity of his leg? He said, by Allah in whose hand is my soul, on the scale of Allah, that little leg of his is weightier than the mountain of Uhud. So the thing that you're making fun of may be something that is more valuable to Allah than anything you have. Subhanallah. And also Allah tells us in the Quran how the pagans used to make fun of the Muslims. When they were in Mecca, when the Muslims converted to Islam, the Quraysh would make fun of them, especially the weak ones like Bilal, who was an ex-slave, and Ammar. But Allah tells us that's okay. Don't worry about what the people say about you. Don't worry about what they do to you, because on the day of judgment, the tables will be turned. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. The criminals used to make fun of those who believed in Allah, and they would wink at one another when the believers walked past. And when they returned to their families, they would joke about them. And when they saw them, they would say, those people are crazy. But they had not been sent as watchers over them. On the day of judgment, those who believe will laugh at the unbelievers. And we talked about in my series on paradise, how one of the great pastimes of paradise is the people of paradise will look down into the hellfire and point out the people that used to harass them and ridicule them in this world. And they will call out to them and say, who's laughing now? That's one of the greatest joys that we will experience in paradise. The ability to call out those people who mocked and ridiculed us in this world. This is why I tell you, parents, teach your children to not care what other people say or think about them. Because he who laughs last is the one that laughs best. Okay? We will all have our laugh on the day of judgment. Okay? And also another guideline that Allah gives us is to not only not make fun of each other and ridicule each other, but don't call each other by offensive nicknames. This is a big problem amongst Muslims today. How many of you use the B word? Brothers and sisters. How many of you brothers get angry at your wife and use the B word? No woman likes that. How many of you sisters get angry at another Muslim and use the B word? That's one of my problems. When lailanasheeba gets angry, it'll come out. It hasn't come out in a while. I've been doing pretty good. But I get angry and the B word would fly all over the place. We have to work on that. We can't call each other by offensive nicknames. And not only that, but we also cannot slander each other. Okay? Allah tells us in the Quran, do not slander yourselves. And a lot of people don't know what is slander. Slander is more deadlier than backbiting, because slander is to say something about a person that they would not like. That's a lie. When you slander a person, you're lying on that person. You're lying and saying that so-and-so has a big nose, so-and-so has a big mouth, so-and-so, steals when that person doesn't. So-and-so is a renegade. A lot of you young Muslim brothers, so-and-so is a deviant, so-and-so is this. We can't use those type of nicknames. So-and-so is a hypocrite. We can't do that. Okay? A Muslim should never call his brother or sister by a name that is defensive to them, because it'll hurt each other. And remember the simple fact that we all declare la ilaha illallah. That means that my honor, my reputation is off limits. And to show how horrific a sin it is to slander a person. A lot of Muslims don't know repentance is hard. How do we repent from slandering another Muslim? Well, you have to stop doing it, number one. You have to feel bad about it, number two. You have to be determined to never slander that person again, number three. But there's a fourth condition of restitution, since this entailed his or her honor. You have to go to all those people that you slandered him to and tell them that you are a liar. A lot of y'all, you need to ask yourselves, has Allah forgiven you of slander? If you didn't go to all those Muslims that you lied on that person to and tell them, hey, brother, I just want to tell you I'm a liar. I said some things about brother Abdullah that were not true. I said some things about brother Abdullah that I should not have said. I said what I don't know. I said what I couldn't prove. So I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? Y'all remember that song? A lot of Muslims, y'all think that y'all have repented from backbiting and slander, but you haven't unless you do that fourth condition. You don't have to go to the person you slander. For example, if you ever slander lailanasheeba, don't tell me. Because once I know a person attacked my reputation or my life improperly, I'm done with you. You're nothing to me. You're nothing to me. And we don't want to destroy our relationships with each other that way. So you don't have to go to the person you did it to. That's a misconception. But instead, you got to go to all the people you talked about that person to and let them know that you are a loser. That's the restitution. And until you go to those people and tell them that you are a loser for what you did, Allah is not accepting because you didn't fulfill the four conditions of repentance. Remember, life, honor, property. These are the three sacred things. Anything else I can forgive you of. But qisas is life. Qisas is honor. Qisas is property. What good is it doing for you to come to me and tell me that you lied on me? I already know you lied on me. The people still believe you though. So unless you make things right with the people, my reputation is still gone. The people still ain't going to listen to me. They're still not going to come to me because they're believing you. So to make it right, don't come to me. You got to go to them and tell them, Layla ain't the loser. It's me. I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me? That old song, The Loser. Y'all didn't know that, did you? That person's reputation is still destroyed unless you make it right with the people that you destroyed his or her reputation to. All right? So that shows how horrific a sin it is to slander somebody. Coming back from it ain't easy because you're going to set the score right for that person, but nobody's going to trust you anymore. Because the loser is you, not them. Okay? And what goes hand in hand with slander is suspicion. Islam aims to establish a society that's based on mutual trust, not doubt, not suspicion, not lies, not accusations. So Allah tells us, in the interpretation of the meaning, oh, you who believe, stay away from suspicion because suspicion is a sin. You're suspicious of me? Why are you suspicious of me? The simple fact I said, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah means a Muslim. Unless I prove myself to be wrong by doing something I don't need you to be suspicious of me. Okay? Suspicion leads to spying on other Muslims. And the Prophet forbade this. Allah forbade this. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, stay away from suspicion, because airing your suspicions is the most deceptive form of speech. Because you got a bad feeling about me. Now you're going to make everybody else have a bad feeling about me. When in reality, your bad feeling was jealousy, because you figured your husband was going to marry me. And he did. I'm just giving an example. You sisters can relate to that marriage stuff. That's the best example for y'all. So your suspicions, because I married your husband, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. It's legal. Marriage is good and clean, okay? But because you were suspicious of it, you done turned the whole sisterhood against me. When I've done nothing to merit their suspicion. I've done nothing for them to distrust me. Unless I prove to be distrustful. You have to trust me, guys. Okay. This is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if you do have a suspicion or feel suspicious about something, do not pursue it. Do not pursue it. Okay? We have a hadith, whereas Abu Haytham, who was the scribe of Uqba ibn Amir, who was one of the original companions, he said, I went to Uqba ibn Amir and I said, some of our neighbors drink and I am going to call the police and have them arrested. Uqba said, don't do that. Instead, go and talk to them first. Warn them first. So this companion said, I told him, I said, I did talk to them. I did try to stop them, but they didn't listen to me. So I'm going to go to the police and have them arrested. Uqba then said to him, woe unto you. I heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if a person conceals the private affairs of others, it's like reviving a girl who was buried alive in her grave. So here, he was saying, try to talk to the people before we bring in the po-po. And this is what I was talking about yesterday when the sisters, for our Q&A, one of the sisters was asking, what do you do if your husband is a menace? He won't let you move on. I told her the first thing you do is try to talk to him. Oh, I did that. Try to have the imam of the masjid talk to him. Oh, I did that. Well, you have to exhaust those avenues first. Try to get somebody of affluence, somebody that he respects, to talk to him first. And if he doesn't stop, then you bring in the po-po. Okay? We have to try to, give the people a chance, our brothers and sisters a chance. We'll break our neck to help the kafir, but we won't break our neck to help each other. That's how we are. But that's not the way we should be. Okay? We have to remember, as Muslims, we're not supposed to go around trying to find fault with each other. Let me give an example. How many people will come to listen to my lectures? I'm talking about sisters, not the brothers. The brothers come and they listen. But my dawah is aimed at women, not men. A lot of women, I try to get to come here. They don't want to come for whatever their female reasons are. And then some of them do come, but they're coming not to learn from me, but they're coming to try to find fault with me. Okay? Especially young girls, 19, 20 years old, who haven't even lived to see the next day, will come and listen to me and try to critique me when I'm old enough to be their great grandmother, and I studied this deen longer than they lived on this earth, and I'm basing everything on Quran and Sunnah. That's why I use PowerPoint. But you're so suspicious because of your own sins that you're indulging in, that you'll come here to try to spy on me and find fault with me. And then some of these girls run back to people like Jamali. Layla said this, Layla did that. But thank God he doesn't fall for that. Okay? We're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to seek out other people's faults just to try to prove them to be a hypocrite or just to try to demean them. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and this is a hadith that we talked about just the other day that one of the brothers here talked about. Ibn Umar says that the Prophet came out one day and said, "Oh, you who believe in Allah, oh, you who declare Islam with your tongue, but your hearts have not yet reached faith. Do not annoy the believers by seeking out their faults, because whoever seeks out the faults of his Muslim brother will have his faults exposed by Allah. And when Allah exposes someone's faults, this is something bad. Instead, we're supposed to try to, give each other a second, lower the wing with each other. Give each other the benefit of the doubt. This is why, as Muslims, Islam forbids us from sneaking around peeking in other people's homes. Because what goes on in my house is my business. It ain't yours. What I do in my house is my business. It ain't yours. What I do in my house is between me and Allah. That's why it's in my house. But you got some people that go around sneaking around your house, peeking in the windows with binoculars, watching to see what's going on through the windows so they can find dirt on you. There's a lot of brothers who do this with each other. They spy on each other so they can try to strip them, of their popularity with the people. This is not Islam. This is bad behavior. Okay? And likewise, it's forbidden for us to eavesdrop too. So not only do we not spy on each other, not only do we go around being suspicious of each other, but we're also not to go around eavesdropping too. You want to hear what's going on with me in my house. Whoever eavesdrop on other people's conversations, the punishment will be that they will have lead poured into their ears on the day of judgment. So here you can see Allah set rules. He set laws. He set guidelines in effect for us as Muslims so we can live together in an Islamic society or an Islamic community without hurting each other. Our society, our environment should be based on respect for each other, love for each other, concern and care for each other, not suspicion, not doubt, not jealousy, not hatred that we see today. So let's see how well you all understood this class. I'm going to give you a brief quiz just to see how well you all understood this information. First question. Who can tell us why did Allah single women out in regards to making fun of others? Why did he single out women? Why did he say, and do not let other women make fun of women? Why did he single out women over men in that verse? Who can answer? Why did Allah single out women in that verse over men?
They're more emotional than men.
Exactly, because we women are more emotional. We fall into our jealousies and stuff more. We're very jealous creatures. If anyone could outsmart Shaitan, it would have been a woman. We're very deceptive. We can be. All of us are capable of it. I am not a deceptive person. I've worked against that. But if I wanted to be, I could be. Just like every other female listening to me, we all have it in us. where we could be very, very treacherous. Okay? So that's why Allah singled us out. Let's look at the next question. To impress Allah, what must we work on? If you want to gain Allah's favor, you want Allah to be impressed by you, what is it that we have to work on to impress him? Anyone? Is it the way I look?
Is it work on our deeds and our righteousness?
Exactly. Allah is impressed by our deeds, our good deeds, and the sincerity in our heart. That's the way we impress Allah, not by the looks. I look beautiful. I know that Allah loves beauty. So even though I'm sitting at home in my house, even though this is a bathrobe that I have on, this is a bathrobe. I'm going to make sure my bathrobe is clean. I'm going to make sure that I match it up with a nice little headpiece. I'm going to put on some kohol. I'm going to make sure my teeth are brushed, because I know that Allah loves beauty, but I'm not doing it to impress him, to make him think I'm better than somebody. I'm doing it because I want him to see that I know what he likes. And I put him first and foremost over everyone and everything. Even though I'm alone and nobody can see me, I know that he does. So because of my good deeds, I'm going to be clean and make myself presentable for him. I'm doing these deeds to impress him for his sake. You know, that's an example. And a lot of you sisters tell me that you've had other women. And by the way, let me just keep it real. The women that approach you are jealous women. Any woman that approaches another female Muslim woman who is practicing her deen and who has not transgressed Allah's limit, any female that approaches you and asks you why you look the way you look is jealous of you, because she wishes she looked like you. They ask you, why do you put on clothes like this? Why do you wear matching colors when you just at home? Why do you put on makeup when you're just at home? Just tell them, because Allah is beauty and Allah loves beauty. And I want to impress him with my actions, to let him know that I know that of him. I don't need a man to tell me I'm beautiful. I don't need another jealous female to try to tear me down of that. All I need is Allah to know that I appreciate what he's given me. And I'm trying to please him by representing what he loves. Tell him that. And those women will drop their mouth and they'll walk away. Because I've been telling women that since I was 12 years old. I've always told women that, Muslim women that. Because they've always been approaching me with that nonsense since I was 12. Just jealous women. Okay. Next question. How does a person slander another? Because a lot of Muslims don't know what slander is. So in other words, what I'm asking you in this question is to tell me, what is slander? What does it mean to slander a person?
Say something about them that's a lie, that's not true.
You guys agree? She said to say something about another person that's a lie.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree.
That's exactly what it is. We have to avoid that, guys. Don't say what you don't know. Don't allow that jinn to cause you to tear that sister down because you wish you could be like her or you had what she got. We women suffer with that. That's why y'all need to stay home. I keep telling you, new converts, your home is better for you. I'm home. I leave to go take the garbage out, go to Starbucks, go to sometimes to the grocery store. That's it. I'm in the house 24/7. And every time I go, what happened when I took the trash out 2 days ago? I was just going to the garbage can, but two sisters came up to me and asked me about Islam. They had just converted. See? What happened when I went to the grocery store last week? A group of little Muslim boys helped me carry my groceries to my car. And that's when I gave them some dawah about imitating the kafir. Okay. So, whenever we go outside of our homes, we're going to come in contact with others. Alhamdulillah, the people I've come in contact with are we're good Muslims. But sometimes we come in contact with some bad people, some jealous, corrupt people, Muslims and some not Muslims. So your home is safer and better for you. I keep telling you women that street life, it's not for us. Okay? And I think I got one more question. Let's see, this last question. What is the difference between suspicion and spying? Who can answer that? What's the difference between suspicion and spying?
Suspicion leads to spying.
Okay, mashallah. And how? What makes suspicion lead to it?
Because,
go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Precious. Go ahead, whoever that was.
Because suspicion, you're assuming something. You think something's happening. You don't even know if it's really happening or not. And then spying is you actually going through somebody's stuff, their phone, their computers, their agendas, calendars, and trying to look for something.
Exactly. That's the difference. That's the difference. To spy, you're going to actually try to find what you're looking for. Sometimes we can't handle what we find. Okay? I remember back when I was young, everybody, the sisters were tripping over that polygamy stuff like a lot of you women are in this polygamy group. I never had a problem with polygamy. I preferred it, to be honest. I don't care about no polygamy. Less time I got to spend with you. I can spend more time calling to Allah. That's why now that I'm older, I'm not even married. But if I ever got married, it has to be polygamy. I could never marry a man that ain't got at least 2 or 3. Because I ain't got time for all that drama. I can't get my anxiety. Come and go. That's all. Come around, stick for a minute. Bye. Happy trails. Okay. But I remember when I was younger, some of the women would go through their husband's clothes and go through their cars, and they would always get hurt. Oh, he got another wife. They'd always find out that he had another wife because they brothers wouldn't tell. They'd have a wife in a different city, a different state, because the brothers were traveling all the time. So I want to know why my husband always traveling, girl. You don't want to find out why he always traveling? Well, they go sneaking through the car, sneaking through his drawers and find that woman's numbers and names and pictures and wow, and find babies too. Oh my God, he got other cheering. Somebody just had a cheering by him. Yep. Spying. Sometimes it's best to stay out of people's stuff because you can't handle the truth. Remember that? You can't handle the truth. Okay, so we got to be careful of all that spying and stuff. Okay, so mashallah, that was today's class, social rules. Allah set social rules and social guidelines in effect for us to allow us to live amongst each other in harmony, in peace. Islam does not mean peace. I repeat, Islam does not mean peace. Islam means total submission to Allah. That's what we need to work on today as Muslims. submitting ourselves totally to Allah's way of life and not trying to assimilate the lifestyle of others. All right, I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Any questions? Okay, I have a question here from Sister Khadija from Twitch. She said, this is off topic, but my car broke down and I need a new car. But going to dealership, they will charge you interest fees. Is that allowed for me to do and pay monthly? Okay, let me let you guys know. There's exceptions to every rule in Islam. Interest is haram. We all know that. But sometimes you may find yourself in a situation that you have no choice. And in that situation, you have no choice but to indulge in the interest. But if you indulging in the interest, you have to hate it, number one, and go the least effective way you can. A car is a necessity. You need a car to get to work. You need a car to go to school. You need a car to go grocery shopping. And nowadays, it is not safe for no Muslim woman or Kafir woman either to be hopping it on no bus. Not here in the USA. Don't nobody ride the bus in the USA. Oh, heck no, unless you want to get raped, drugged up, mobbed, estacide, lynched. So a car is a necessity. So if you have no choice, then you have to buy one, but get the least amount you can. And you don't buy a Lexus. You don't buy a BMW. You don't buy a Mercedes. You get you a Kia. And by the way, Kias are good cars and they're very inexpensive. Everybody understand that? And then you have to make sure that you can pay it and try to get it paid off as soon as possible and look for alternatives. Now, there is an alternative to buying on interest. You can do like I do, Sister Khadija. I lease, but you have to have A1 credit. If you have good credit, if your credit score is over 700, then you can lease a car. And leasing doesn't entail that interest. Okay? No interest at all in leasing. So check out leasing first. See if tell the dealer that you're interested in leasing. Because leasing is not interest. That's what I do. I lease my cars. And you can lease a Lexus. You can lease a BMW. As long as you can afford to pay the $700. I know how much it costs. You can pay the $750 a month car note. Then you good to go. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
I have a question about the hypocrite word.
Yes.
So that includes metaphors like when someone says something to me and then I say, well, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? That would be another way of calling someone a hypocrite. Would that count?
No, I don't know what you mean. Like, what do you mean?
You know, there's those sayings that people will say, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Meaning that's when someone says something like, it basically means hypocrite.
Somebody calls you a hypocrite. They say you a hypocrite. And you say you the pot calling the kettle black.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's implying the same thing. Don't do
Same
that.
thing.
Yeah, don't. If somebody calls you a hypocrite, that person has cursed himself.
Okay.
So you ain't got to say nothing.
Nothing.
You just look
Okay.
at him and walk away because he done cursed himself. Do y'all know how many people call y'all? You guys do, because y'all been with this website since I've been here for a long time. Do y'all remember those MySpace women that used to come here? Oh my God. Y'all remember when they went off on me and called me a kafir and a hypocrite because I told them that you can't make dua for your dead mother? Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Y'all remember the woman that used to wear her mother's ashes around her neck?
Yes.
You know, although it was 5 of those sisters. Do you know all 5? And they're the ones that were in Texas. And they're the ones that made flyers about me and my website. They went to every masjid in Texas, darn near, and slandered me and my website and telling people to stay away from me. Look at those 5 sisters now. Ain't none of them practicing Islam. That you cursed me and called me a kafir. Look who's the kafir now.
Yeah.
Then I had another sister used to come here. She was in Australia. I'll never forget her too. You know, she jumped sides when the fitna happened here back in the day when I was married to Brother Maine. Okay. And I'll never forget, she slandered my character. Look what happened. Slander is a horrific sin. She slandered my character, left my website, got pregnant, and had the worst thing happen. Gave birth to a dead baby. We got to be careful what we do to other people. And I'll never forget, because when I got a thing in the mail from her, remember that I got some ugly abaya in the mail and a card from her saying I just gave birth to a dead baby. So maybe this will take off the curse for me doing what I did. I took that package and dumped it in the incinerator and kept it moving. You know, and it felt evil. I'll never forget that. I was like, oh, a'udhu billahi. You got to be careful. When people call you a kafir or a hypocrite, don't say nothing. Just keep it moving, because it's going to come back on them. I've seen it. I've seen it come back over the years on so many women and men that I've never met in real life, but they used to come through my website and talk bad against me. I'm still here teaching, alhamdulillah, and look where they all are. It's not pretty. Remember those kids that slandered me, guys? They made a website. I had to call the FBI back in the early 2000s. Some young kids, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, had the nerve to call themselves Salafi. That was back in the Salafi movement era of fitna. And those children slandered me so badly. And they did so much to me, harassed my website. I had to call the FBI on them kids. Most of them lived in the United Kingdom. Look what happened to them. A lot of those boys joined up with the Taliban and got killed. The girls, the ones that were married, gave birth to babies that were dead like the other woman. And then the other kids apostated. A couple of them in jail. We got to be careful how we treat each other, because what is going to come back on us. Life is a circle. What goes around comes around. So we have to be careful what we say about each other, especially if it's somebody that is practicing this deen and teaching it. Be careful of attacking the people of knowledge, guys. Unless that person really does have some serious issues, it's going to come back on you. Yeah. So, people calling you names like that, just don't say it. Don't say the pot calling the kettle black. Just look at them and say, wow, and keep it moving. Yeah. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
On the, just paraphrasing a little bit, just to get you to understand what I'm saying. On when the Prophet ﷺ said a Muslim never get caught in the same hole twice. It's like kind of like saying that if someone did something to you, you don't hold them to like stop like holding a grudge or something against them, but you never get put in the same place twice.
It doesn't mean that. It basically is an old saying that we say to learn from your mistakes. That's all that is. That's not talking about grudging. That's not talking about, it's saying learn. Learn from your mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes over and over again. It says a Muslim is never bit by the same snake twice. That's the hadith. Once a snake bites you, you know that snake bites and it's dangerous, so I ain't gonna pick it up no more. If you go back and pick up a snake after that, then you stupid. Something wrong with you. That's what it's saying. You learn from your mistakes. A believer is never bitten by the same snake twice. All it takes is one time for me to learn something that's detrimental for me, and I'm going to stay away from it. And in regards to people, all it takes is one time. Say, for example, them sisters that slandered my character. Do you think I would let them back in my website? Amina Fresno can tell you back when that fitness and Anissa, all y'all, and Ifti, all y'all who were here, y'all remember the famous speakers I had back then? Those imams. That's why I don't have them here no more. How many of all of them except for Jamali? Y'all remember those imams would come in here and tell me that I need to let those sisters back? Remember that? Sister Layla, you need to let them sisters back in your website. You need to take the back, because I was banning them. You shouldn't ban them sisters. Why would I let these dangerous snakes back in my website? I already learned the danger. The danger. I'd be a fool to let them back up in here. The only one that said don't let them in was Jamali. It's another reason why Jamali will always be here. You know, the other imams, Sister Layla, you need to forgive. Nuh-uh. They attacked my honor. 3 things are sacred. They attacked my reputation. That's my life. I am a daya. This is my life. Why would I allow those women up in my website after they done slandered and lied on me to you and other men? Oh no. The Muslim learns from life's experiences. The Muslim learns and doesn't put himself in a situation to get hurt like that again. That's something you women need to learn. Y'all married. You need to learn from the problems of each marriage and don't keep making the same mistakes over again. Don't keep marrying the same type of men over and over. Just like those women can never come in my website, not even today. It's been 25, 30 years. They still can't come in here. If I ever seen them in here, they'd be banned. I'm not bit by the same snake twice. You understand that hadith now? It's basically saying just learn from what happens.
Yeah, I understand it. My question was basically like, as far as in you will learn from it, but it's still not, that still is not holding a grudge. So say for instance, if somebody do something to you, I'm not holding a grudge against it, but I won't get bit twice for whatever it is that you did. If you slander me, or if you said something or did something to me, or whatever the case may be, would that both be considered in the same thing?
No, remember that's better. Remember we talked about the 3 categories of people. There are some people that we show allegiance to on one hand and we disassociate from on another. If this Muslim has proven to be untrustworthy in a position or untrustworthy in a relationship, you learn from that. But if he needs help with paying his rent or something, oh, I'll give you some money. That's well better. We have to learn when to hold and fold. That's not holding. Holding a grudge is to cut a person off. Y'all understand? A lot of Muslims don't know what it means to hold a grudge. To hold a grudge means to cut a person off and never talk to them or deal with them in life. That's a grudge. Some people are deserving of that. An apostate, for example, is deserving of that. A true, proven hypocrite is deserving of that. But for some Muslims who have never harmed your character, who have never attempted to take your life, who have never took your property, but they got problems like they smoke weed or something. These are the people that we distance ourselves from. Mina, do you understand? If it entails your life, your honor, your property, you ain't got to deal with that person ever again. My life, my honor was attacked. I'll never let that person back up in here. Because those three things are sacred. Period. Dot. You raped my daughter. You think I'm going to let you back up in here? You killed my husband. You got nothing coming. You attack my honor. You violated. These are the transgressions we can never do towards each other. Anything else, who cares? You understand? Everybody understand now?
Yeah, I get it.
We got to put people in the proper categories. That's how the prophet did. Like today, a lot of these famous speakers shouldn't be holding those positions because they violate the trust. They've been proven to be liars. They've been proven to be innovators. They've been proven to be deviants. Once you've been proven guilty of something like that and you're holding a public position, the prophet would make you step down and never hold that position again because you let down the amana, the trust between the people. But we don't do that. We let these famous speakers still be famous when they done raped, they've killed, they've attempted murder, they fornicated, they adulterated. So it depends on the position a person holds too. If a person of knowledge commits a sin, it's not the same as a person that's not a person of knowledge. It's worse. That person has broke the trust. So I can never trust you again. And if you were living in the time of the companions, you wouldn't ever be put in a position to repeat that twice, because the believer is never bitten by the same snake twice. The companions wouldn't put these men in a position to do it again. Y'all understand? But those were people who practice Islam and its truthfulness. We're not like that today. Y'all follow these famous speakers and listen to them when these men have and women have violated everything sacred. It's disgusting. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, the brother here said, thank you for making it so simple. He said I like the way you explain things, Sister Layla. You are so right. Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless us all and forgive us all of our sins. It's just common sense. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop right here. I want you guys to remember that tomorrow is Sunday. So what do we have tomorrow? We have the Sunnahfollowers Kids program. It begins at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means I have to do the PowerPoint stuff, which means I'll be up in that Zoom room playing the cartoons so I can get the PowerPoint together. And also tomorrow we have my cousin Mukhtar. He's doing the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at 6. And then we have my class, the lawful and the unlawful. This class again will speak more about the social laws and rules that Allah put in order. And let me remind everybody, if you enjoy learning Islam in its truthfulness with the understanding of the companions, please support this website. Scan that QR code, because we are desperately, oh God, yes, the 16th. I got to check. We're desperately in need of donations to cover this website expenses. It costs $2,000 a month to cover our website expenses. And also, guys, please support us by liking and subscribing, because when we get the proper amount of subscribers, the website will pay for itself. But we're not even close to having the right amount of subscribers. So click that like and subscribe tab. If you enjoy learning, subscribe to our channel and like all the videos. Every class I do, click the like button, because that puts us up higher and gives us more recognition, where we can get more people to come in here to join. And inshallah, by next year, we'll be able to, the website will basically pay for itself, because we are a nonprofit organization. And also, guys, don't forget that this is the end of the year. For those of you in America who do work, go to your HR person and ask them if you can fill out the charity form, because we are tax exempt. You can put our website, Sunnahfollowers, as a tax exempt, and they can take it out your check, you know, and you'll never miss the money, and that'll help to pay our website expenses too. I'm going to put something together tonight. Like I said, I'm going to be up tonight. Oh, take this hijab. I was about to take my hijab off. I'm going to be up tonight doing this stuff. I was about ready to take off this hijab, so I got to be up. Okay, so I'm going to close out for now, and inshallah, I'll see everybody tomorrow, and I will post a schedule up. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Everybody have a good night. If you've got any other questions, I'm in the Zoom room.